Hello everyone, welcome back to my Chronically Cozy Life and my Cozy Chats podcast series. I'm here today with Ali Cameron, the founder of Seated Perspective, and today I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about how we are making our business not only accessible for ourselves, but also accessible for our clients, because we are working with people just like us, so that's really important. Ali, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Welcome.
My pleasure. I'm so excited to be here and to have this chat.
Yeah. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about you and your business?
For sure. As Randi mentioned, I'm the founder of Seated Perspectives. So this is a brand that I started in late 2022, so almost 3 years ago now. It started very much the disability advocacy space and with a focus of educating non-disabled folks on what it means to navigate the world as a disabled woman. But it shifted very much into more of a community building space after that, as I started interacting with more disabled folks, which was honestly really special and transformative for me. And that then led me to exploring opportunities for what I could create as a business. So coming into it with very much a content marketing and brand expertise, I have now created a coaching business where I help other disabled creators do their own brand building and social media work. That's where I'm at right now. I'm based in beautiful Vancouver with my two dogs, which you might hear one in the background. He's staring at me very incessantly right now with his toy. And I live here with my husband as well.
Nice. Yes, you're so close to me. I'm in BC as well, in the Okanagan, so we're not too far away.
Not at all.
My pup is just kind of sleeping beside me because he already gave up on me playing with him at the moment.
Mine is never in that place. I'm just trying to keep him entertained before he starts barking at me.
Yeah.
Because that is the option.
Never give up. Never surrender.
No, exactly.
Love it. I found that as I started as well, like same thing with like the community, it just kind of happens. And that's like, I mean, if there is an advantage to being chronically ill and disabled, it is that you become part of a really amazing community and a group of people that are always like super supportive and super like there for you. And like, it's so amazing, like the way, like, as I started to be, like, to explore my chronic illness and start to figure out what it was going on with me, that was, like, one of the first things I found, that, like, there's so many people out there just sharing their story and building their things around it, and I love that. Isn't it fun?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was, I don't know, it was sort of a turning point, because I first became disabled when I was 14, so 20 years ago this year, and it was very much an accident where I sustained my spinal cord injury, and then it was very much a process of like, okay, how do I fold this into the trajectory that I was already on? So there was never any real effort early on to like integrate myself into the disability community. It was much more about like fitting in to the environments in which I was already in, or the environments I was entering. So it's only really been in the last 3 years in building Seated Perspectives that I've like let myself embrace my identity, and that in turn like opened the door up to community as well. It's definitely a process, and I think it feels almost revolutionary, because so much of what we're taught is to like not participate in it and not seek it out and not identify with it. So it's been pretty cool, and also now it's led me to what I'm doing from a business perspective, so that's pretty cool as well.
And I think like one of the things that like so many of us can relate to is that like process of going from being able-bodied to not, and having to like get around using the language too, because like I went from being like I have chronic pain to I am chronically ill to like, no, this is a disability, and having to like go along with that. And I know that like, that's not uncommon at all.
No, not at all. I mean, for me, even like I am very visibly disabled. Like I am a permanent wheelchair user, so there's no really getting around it. But even still, I was very much like identifying myself as a wheelchair user and was very adamantly that and not anything else. So it's only been recently that I've been able to actually own the word disabled and use it to describe not just myself but my community as well.
Yeah. I always find I have a hard time not with using the language, but like, so I always like describe my community as like chronically ill and neurodivergent. And like, it's a freaking mouthful to say and type every time. So like, there was part of me for a little while that was like, well, I gotta find like a shorter way. And then there's like spoonies, which I don't love the spoonies. Like, I just don't love the analogy. I don't think that it's, I don't know, I don't think it makes sense really. But then like, also we're in a time where we're trying to get people to stop changing like the verbiage too. We're trying to just say disabled. But some people who are chronically ill and neurodivergent do not identify as being disabled. So I've been like going in this like whole circle of like, and I've just like, I just keep saying for like chronically ill and neurodivergent. And it seems to like meet most people. Most people who are disabled will identify as being chronically ill, or at least know that it's probably still geared towards them. But not so much the other way around.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've found myself adding chronically ill sometimes to my descriptors because I'm talking to disabled creators. Largely talking to disabled creators, but I find, as you said, not all chronically ill folk will identify as disabled. And I think part of it too is that there's an element of a lot of chronically ill folk not believing that they're disabled enough to claim the term disabled, which is problematic as well.
Oh, so problematic.
So it's really interesting. Like I'm happy to continue trying to just normalize disabled to describe us all because it's true. But also understand that everyone has their personal relationship with the word. I did before, so it is a case of like continuing the conversation and leaving it open as much as you can to people to identify in different ways, right?
Neurodivergence too is another one that like a lot of people don't always see it as a disability or know it to be a disability so much. So that's another one that I couldn't just like lump into things either. Like it just doesn't work. We're all a little bit different, but like at the same time we all need something similar. We need something that's more accessible. We need something that's more understanding and flexible. We need something that understands our limits. Like, those are the things that I try to encompass in all of it. And, like, try to say it that it's for everyone. So let's get into all of that. Let's talk first about how we are making our businesses accessible for us, because that's huge. And I know a lot of people are out there struggling. And I know that you do a lot of content work as well. And I know that that's one of the places where I'm hearing people are struggling the most. So I was wondering if we could start there. How are you making your content and your social media and everything accessible for you?
I feel like it's a lot of unlearning the rules that exist for social media and content in general. Absolutely. Like there's so much of a narrative out there of just like, you've got to post every day and it's got to be this and not that, and you've got to feed the algorithm, and on and on and on and on and on. And I think it's also really difficult to like show up on social media and see all this like hyper produced content, which is coming from people who have a bunch of time and a bunch of money and a bunch of energy,
or a whole team behind them.
Exactly, or a whole team. So I think the biggest thing is like not comparing myself to other folks. My biggest thing, I feel like the word authenticity is overused perhaps in the social media space. But it is really about that. It's about like showing up as myself. Like all of my brand choices are just very much, I like these colors. I've been noticing more and more that my brand is a reflection of my life. Because like, if I look at my living room, it is all like orange and green, and that is very much like what shows up in the Seated Perspectives colors. And then I hosted like a Life Day party last week, and all the color choices there were like fall and corals and pink, and I'm like, okay. Like, the fact that the photos from the event basically fit in seamlessly with my brand says a lot. So yeah, I think it's just like making choices. A big part of it is making choices that are just very aligned with me and how I want to show up, because that already takes like a whole layer off, where you don't have to like put on a different persona to show up on social media. And because that takes a lot of energy, right? And it's a lot easier to just show up as you. And relatedly, the other part is just like staying very conscious. Like, there's the element of actually creating content, which is hard in itself, but I think there are a few steps that you need to take beforehand that then make content creation easier. And that's understanding why it is you do what you do, why you want to show up, why you want to be visible, what it is that you want to say, like what's your point of view, what's your message, and then who do you want to say it to? So who's the person on the other side of the screen? Yeah. And once you understand those three things, then it makes it a lot easier to make choices around what it is you're saying, how you're saying it, what you're communicating, whether it makes sense to jump on a trend. And that makes like all those little micro decisions a lot easier to make, and then it takes a lot less energy to like make them. So to me, it is sort of taking a bit of a metaphorical step back and just thinking about the broader vision of what it is that you're doing and really being attuned to it, and then creating from that place, and that already makes it a lot easier. And the other bit is just like, not feeling the need to be hyper produced all the time. And leaning into things like using the Canva templates and just making small enough changes that it still looks like you, but you're not doing all the nitty gritty composing of a slide. And starting to leverage AI in a way that's supportive of the work that you're doing, and in ways that makes content creation easier. So maybe it gets to a point where you're more of an editor than a writer when it is that you're creating your content. But just basically choosing the tools that make things easier. And I was talking to one of my coaching students today, and I was like, this is going to become my mantra. It's basically choose the easier path. Every time you're presented with options, and it's like, if it looks like something's getting in the way of you hitting post or just like getting the post ready, choose the easier path that makes it easier to get it out there.
Yes. Yeah. I have simplified so many things in my social media lately, and I have been so much happier. I have I've always shown up very like low key. Like, I don't put a lot of, I'm not a makeup person. I don't like it sensory wise. I'm not a makeup person. And I tried for a little while because I felt like I had to, but then like, I was like, you know what, I'm not posting because I don't want to put on makeup, so, just stop doing that. And, like, all those little things. I unfortunately don't love making Canva carousels, and I really wish I did, because I do know that would be something that would be way more low-key, but I do feel like I've gotten okay at making fairly, like, easy reels, so that helps.
Well, and you have such a, like, big or consistent presence on Threads too, so
Threads has been like, oh my gosh, and I think this has come up in every one of my podcasts so far. Threads is like my place now, because that's where I'm meeting everybody and I'm talking to everybody. I was the neurodivergent kid, the undiagnosed neurodivergent kid that just got told she talks a lot. I know that this like hits with a lot of people. I got told I talk a lot all the time, and gosh, I wish that my mother understood how social media works so that she could see now how beneficial it is that I like to talk a lot, because I just keep posting like all of these random thoughts, and I don't know, it seems to be working for me. I'm connecting with a lot of people, and that's great.
For sure. Yeah, and I think the point I was going to make there is that that's super easy to translate into reels as well, because you could just do a screenshot of a thread, put it up against some B-roll or like any sort of short clip, and there's your reel. And you just like add a little bit of extra context to the caption. So yeah, repurposing is another massive thing for me when it comes to making. Yeah, when it comes to making content easier, for sure.
Do you blog?
Especially if you. Sorry.
Do you blog? Sorry.
I don't blog, but I do have a weekly newsletter, so that becomes an easy one to pull from. But also just from past content that's already on Instagram. Like, repetition is such a good thing on social media. I think people are so afraid of it because they think that, like, people are gonna see the same post or the same words or the same thing again and like judge me for it. And I'm like, do you judge people when they're making their content?
Do you even notice? Do you like, like,
exactly.
I can say, like, sometimes I do, but because I am looking at people's stuff analytically because of what I do and stuff like that. So, like, but, like, whenever I see it, I see how clever they're doing it and how, like, you know, all you have to do is, like, separate a post by, like, 4 or 5, and you'll never notice that, like, it is the exact same one. And my favorite well, I stopped using TikTok now, but for a while I had it really good that I was using TikTok to make all my videos, and then it would automatically download, and then I would upload it onto Instagram and onto YouTube. And honestly, I almost want to, like, get YouTube or TikTok back for that, but
just for that.
it's a time suck. It's a time suck that I don't need. I have too many things to do right now for TikToks.
Yeah, it's a time suck, and now there's just, like, such an interesting play with the whole purchasing of it and stuff that I'm just like, I need to get off it.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that because I haven't been on it, so... But, I mean, like, and I have been out of the loop a little bit since I haven't been on it, because you don't see the same thing on Instagram, like... Yeah. So much different.
You don't. It's very different.
Yeah.
But I'm almost thinking it's okay. It's like, I definitely, I don't use it to share anything. And also I'm, like, in a place now, that's another sort of tip in terms of making content easier, is, like, don't overburden yourself with too many platforms.
No.
You don't need to be everywhere. Like, that's just, like, gonna stress you out more than anything. So, I don't post anything on TikTok. I do scroll through it sometimes, but now I'm just like, it's led me to a few nice places on YouTube, and I think that's fine. And I'll just stay on YouTube to watch things and just leave, because, it's getting to be a bit of a scary tool, I think.
Yeah. And honestly, YouTube's my place. I mean, like, that's where I still, like, I post all these podcasts, and I'm still debating as to whether I'm going to expand out and, like, put them all on Spotify and everything else, because if I do that, that means I have to figure out yet another piece of software, and so that's a whole thing. So
that is
I love all the technology.
And I think that's such a, like, unspoken part of entrepreneurship too, or, like, having your own business is, like, dealing with all these different tech tools. And it comes to a point as you start sort of growing and start working with other people as clients that it, like, you can't help but, like, participate. You can't just keep it to, I mean, when I was just doing freelance writing, it was just like, okay, I've got my Google Workspace and Google Docs, and that's all I need. But as soon as you're working, like, one-on-one on coaching and, like, figuring out how bookings, like, time bookings happen, and, like, so I've got Calendly, and that's integrated with my Zoom, and, like, I have Notion for all of my repository of information, and it's like, okay, and then ChatGPT is, like, my right-hand tool, so it's like, and you sort of get into a bit of a spiral of spending with tech.
It's so much, and I'm really trying to keep it as cheap as possible, because then I don't have to charge quite as much, which is nice, and I don't have as much overhead, which is nice. I don't have as many bills to, like, remember when they're even coming out and to track, which is great.
Yes. That's also good.
That's a bonus all in itself. But just keeping it simple has been, like, the biggest part. And sometimes it takes me a minute of, like, more work to figure out how to do it the simple way and not just buy a thing. But in the end, so far, I've been doing pretty well with my fairly basic setup, and I like it. Yeah. I do know I have to expand on some things, possibly podcasting software. But I think this would be fifth or sixth So, yeah,
okay.
so maybe I might have to. So you mentioned a couple times the use of AI.
Yeah.
And in one of my last videos, I talked to somebody all about AI. So let's talk about that for a second. It is a hot topic for some people. Some people don't seem to understand. However, all of the people that I've talked to who are chronically ill, disabled, and building a business, we get it. Oh, especially the neurodivergents, we get it because like the organizing of the ideas. What's your favorite ways to use your AI?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, particularly I'm in the middle of launching my first ever group program, and like trying to map out all the things that need to happen to make that happen has been huge. Like, I've got a post-it note of all the things I still have to do, and I've got people who've already signed up for it, and I'm like, but like mapping out like all the emails I needed to do for the launch and all the posts that I should be doing, and like creating like, okay, what does a little like CRM or a relationship management little dashboard looks like, so that I can keep track of all of my, like, all of the signups and the people who are filling out their onboarding form and who's not done it yet. Like, there's a whole lot of consolidation of information that can happen when you're using AI, especially with like automations that are in place, that just takes so much of a mental burden off of you. And like, this is still the first time that I'm running the program. Ideally, I get to a place where I can sort of launch it 3 times a year, and it becomes this like repeatable process for me. And I think like AI is going to make it so much easier for me to do that, so that I can then focus on doing what I do best, which is actually like interacting with folks and teaching the material and creating the material and the frameworks and all that stuff. Because I think that's the thing, right? It's like, it comes in and it helps you as a single business owner. I've never had an ambition to like grow a big team, to have multiple people like in my business. Like, that's just not the vision I have. It's much more for me to like show up and deliver, and create what I can and deliver what I can. And like having AI tools, which I'm still not even using to the full capacity yet. Like, I'm still exploring it and taking it, like starting to take advantage of it more and more. But it like, it allows me to sort of scale without scaling in that sense. And to make my business model just more sustainable for me to do it the way I want to do it.
Oh, it's just like such, like all the like little itty bitty things that like, you didn't really take any kind of creativity. It's just pulling up facts, making a list, putting things together. I love using it for like the brain dumping, just like, oh my gosh, I have all of these things, like put this into a usable list for me. Meta descriptions, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's huge.
Write me a meta description that's this long, and because why would I want to sit there and think like, I don't need to make those creative, they just need to tell you what it is. And I could write it. And like, this is one of the things I always warn people, like when they're getting into using AI, is like, you have to be able to do the task yourself to be able to use AI for it, because you have to know what to tell AI to do, and that AI has done it correctly. So like, if you don't know how to write a blog post, you cannot use it to write a blog post, because it's not going to work at all. It's going to sound AI, and it's going to be horrible. But if you know how to use it, you can use it to formulate the outline and to put together some lists of some things and ideas for some things, and do all the SEO of it.
I mean, I've even used it for image descriptions too.
Image descriptions are a good one.
Like it saves so much time.
Pinterest? I use it for Pinterest all the time. All of the like...
No way!
all of the titles and the descriptions, like, tell it to come up with like 5 or 6 different variations of a title so that you have different posts.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Love that.
I know.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, at the very most, it's a time saver. And that's such an important thing. And I gave a talk at a summit virtual summit that's going live in a couple of weeks. And it is very much about like how AI levels the playing field for us, and why obviously it's important for us to have a level playing field. But like up until now, we've missed out on so many disabled entrepreneurs because there's so many barriers that get in the way of us showing up. And us like even having a chance at success. So I think this makes it easier. Like obviously this is all happening in a much broader conversation and discussion around the impact that AI has from when it's overused, and the environmental impact it has. And the reality is that yes, there are a lot of like big corporations that are completely investing in this space and rebooting all of their tools and infrastructures to account for AI, and that's really the space that's impacting like the usage much more than what disabled creators or disabled entrepreneurs are doing. Like it's important to have that consideration as we talk about this. And then of course, like there's also the conversation around how AI was trained relatively unethically on a bunch of books and art, and there's a reason that it writes with proper grammar because it accessed a lot of proper grammar. So there are a lot of things that still need to be discussed and parsed out, and accountability then attributed to the right people and corporations, and not put on like disabled folks, because I think we're at risk at sort of at risk of like putting disabled folks at the front line of criticism again if we start pressing in on how individuals are using this tooling, and women too, because I feel like there's a pretty big movement within like women entrepreneurs and using AI, and even the summit that I'm part of, it's called Her AI Era Summit, and that's like entirely focused on how
and I bet that's just because men don't admit to it. I bet that we're all out here talking about it in like a way of like, hey, let's empower you and me, and we'll share these things. And these like bro marketers are out there being like, no, dude, I wrote this book on copywriting and how you can make $10,000 million a month in copywriting.
It's a very different vibe.
I have nothing against them, but...
it's a very different vibe in the bro sphere, but I think it's like we have a whole community of people who are using these tools to like access more and sell more and put themselves like out there more, and a lot of people are going to be concerned by that because it hasn't happened before. But I think it's important to keep having those conversations.
Every new thing is.
I want to keep having them for the disability community too.
Yeah, no, it's so important. Okay, so summarizing on like how we're adapting to ourselves, simplifying, using less things, that's huge. Really making sure that we're not comparing ourselves to anybody else, making sure that we're adapting and making it fit our own lives. I love your whole part about your branding and like your colors and everything generally fit your life. Like that's smart. That's the way to do it. Those are the things that like those are the big keys that we talked about there, right? Yeah. And I think those are probably the most important, like, and it really is about the mindset of it all, and just remembering that like you don't have to do it the same way everybody else is doing it.
100%.
That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I'd add to that is that particularly this year I came very much face to face with chronic pain in a way that I hadn't really before. Like I had an injury in my shoulder that just wasn't going away, and it like would take me out for like, it would be like 3 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. And so it got to the point where I had to check in with my body every day before I started anything. So like my first conversation of the day was with my body, just to see like, okay, how much can I actually accomplish today? Or like how me am I going to be able to be? Because it was really impacting me, and I would get onto, like, I still remember this vividly, where I got on a coaching call with one of my students, and she was like, you don't look good. I was like, oh, thanks.
Not what I wanted to hear, but I guess thank you for noticing.
No, but you could see the pain on my face. And then a few days later, or a few weeks later, after I'd like started working with my physio and stuff, and we'd figured out what the issue was, I came on and I'd had like a week of no pain, and she was like, "You're a wholly different person." I was like, well, okay, good to know.
Most people don't see how it like visually affects us like that, because like we don't see them when we're in pain.
No.
And that's something that like the ones, like those of us who have to deal with it chronically, like, and we have to work anyways, like we don't talk about that enough, how hard it is to show up at those points. And like those are definitely like the main things I will try to like reschedule. If I don't feel like I can be me and I can be like the perky self that I want to be, I don't want to get onto a camera with somebody, because I'm just going to be annoyed with them. I'm going to be trying to get off. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be a good person.
Exactly. It's basically a process of like checking in and then looking at what I've set out for that day and being like, okay, can I actually accomplish this in the state that I'm in now? Or should I be shifting around some of my tasks, which I'll do. And if I need to reschedule, rescheduling has become more than okay for me. Like I used to fret about it a lot, and now it's just like, no, like I know that I'm great when I'm on and when I'm like feeling good in myself, and people are going to get a lot more value of a conversation with that version of me than with a version of me that's in pain or tired or not feeling well.
And that's one of the nice things too about like, we both have like, that's our audience, like that's the people that we're working with, are the people that are going to understand that. Like I've had a couple conversations with clients and other professionals, and they're like, no, every time I cancel, somebody else is like, oh, thank gosh. Like, I also wanted to cancel.
No, exactly. So, it's
that's why I always tell people, like, I've already thought about it, so don't worry if you need to, like, please, by all means.
Or it's just, like, completely understanding. And that's, I mean, if we talk about how that sort of is reflected in my business and how we make things more accessible for other disabled folks that we're working with.
That's what I want to get to.
When it comes to like my coaching calls, there is no limit. Like if you buy a package of 4 calls, there's no limit for when you can take those calls, because I know things happen, and I know that you might have a whole month of not feeling well. So if I sort of put a limit and say like you have to do the 4 calls in 30 days, like that's so unrealistic for a majority of disabled folks. So, I mean, and some people will do it in a month, and that's great. And we get like a little sprint in for their creative work or for their brand work. But others, like, it can be, there's one person I'm working with that I think it's been at least 6 months. And we only just finished her last call. And that's fine. Like, that's just the pace that they're working
Everybody
at.
moves at their own pace.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've set my my coaching up in the same way. I've made it so that it's not like a huge long commitment. You don't have to worry about like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to feel in a couple months. Like, because that was one of the things that like the timing of it all was a big thing that I struggled with when I first started working as an entrepreneur. I started a virtual personal training business. And so when I started coaching, and this was like in the height of when there was like so many coaches for coaches. So like I was looking into like all of those coaching programs for coaches, and like every one of them was like 3 to 6 month commitment. Like you had to be there twice a week. You had to be able to show up to all these things. And I'm like, I just don't know if I can. Like, and I don't want to invest the money and find out that I can't. And that like, or like courses that were like 50 modules, and I'm like, I can't. That's so overwhelming. I can't do that. So I've broken down all of my products for that reason, because it's so much. And like
it is. And that's been a consideration with me with a group program that I'm hosting, which is going to be like an 8-week stint, and it is like there are weekly calls, but I'm trying to build in everything that I can so that if you don't attend the live calls.
What are some of your adaptations?
So like all the calls are obviously going to be recorded, and there'll be a transcript as well, but then there's like a weekly email that would cover a lot of what's in the call in terms of like, okay, these are the main points that we hit, this is the presentation, this is like the workbook if you want to work on it, and just basically summarizing the things in a way that's digestible in a different way. And we're going to have a Slack channel for sort of communications in between the calls as well. So basically, just making it so that the call isn't the be all and end all, which can be like such a concern for folks. And I mean, I've got people in completely different time zones as well, so that's another consideration.
That's so hard when you're working with people all over, hey?
Yeah, it makes it for an interesting challenge. I've got one person who's considering joining, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm in like Victoria, Australia. And I was like, it's going to be 3 a.m. for you when I run the call. I don't think you're going to be able to make it. She's like, no, I'll rally. I'm like,
I love it.
If you're there, amazing.
I love that.
But I mean, it just makes it like good course design or like good program design at the end of the day. Because it's not just for people who might have fluctuations in energy, really. It's like even just dealing with the logistical challenge of different time zones is and
just the way everybody learns too, to be able to like read through it afterwards, because I'm one of those people who like I'll sit there through an entire meeting and hear only quarters of it, like, and so if I can read it back afterwards, that really helps me.
Well, and there's another important use of AI too in terms of like note taking, like
yes, that's one of the next AI things that I want to figure out is the AI note taking.
Yeah, so Notion does it as part of their AI infrastructure on the tool, and it's amazing. Like, it saves me so much time, because I used to do, like, coaching calls, and as the coaching call was happening, I was taking notes, and then I would spend an hour afterwards with the notes to like, clean them up, to then send them to the coachee. Now, I've saved, like, 25 minutes of that, because I'm, able to, like, be on the call and converse directly with them.
And actually be present.
Yeah, fully present. And then B, the notes are set up and done with action items at the end of the call, like 2 minutes after the call's done.
Love that.
So I just have to sort of clean that up a little bit just to make sure all the context's there. And that's it. And that's half hour per coaching call that's saved.
My favorite that I have just, I spent most of my morning doing is I'm trying to put all of my podcasts on my blog, because SEO and accessibility and having them all on there. I can get AI to pull up the transcript, and then I can get ChatGPT to clean it up a little bit so that it doesn't have all the timestamps. Like, thanks, Chat. She's my bestie. Love her.
Yeah, she's always awesome.
Best coworker I've ever had.
I named mine. She's called Sparky.
It's funny, I've had this conversation with a couple people who are like Sparky. I keep just calling her Chat. I think it's cute. I don't know. Because I just go, and I talk to her like it's a person. I say my please and thank you. If the AI robots are going to take over, if we go Terminator, I'm prepped for that. Like, I have made sure that Google loves me, AI loves me.
Yeah, no, I say please for everything, which is just, like, wild. I need to, sometimes I, like, take a look at what I'm doing, and I'm like, I'm actually just interacting with technology and speaking to it, like, but it's also speaking to me like it's a person, so.
And sometimes, like, and I think it might be the neurodivergent, but, like, sometimes that helps me, because, like, and a lot of people hate this, but I do use Chat as, like, a search now and then when I can't figure out how to write it in a search bar way. I ask Chat in a way that I can say it. And, you know, to be honest, she gets a lot of my random ramblings when I can't remember, like, certain things, brain fog hits. Like, she figures it out. Also, she's very motivational and always tells me my ideas are good. And now I think also I've trained her to check to make sure that I have the time and capacity for this. I love that. I know, right? I put one in the other day. I was like, hey, so, like, what if I started doing this? And, like, how would I do that? And it, like, gave me the answer. And it was like, yeah, well, like, you could do that by going, you know, through this. But do you have the capacity? Like, is that really, like, one of the things to do with your goals right now? And I'm like, no, Chat. No, it's not. You are correct. Fine, then.
It's epic.
I know. I also found out, as we're talking about, like, tools and ways to make life for entrepreneurs easier, you can ask Chat if it can find you on SEO, like if it finds you on the web.
That's my next thing to figure out, yeah. Because ChatGPT SEO is now a thing.
And that's like the big stress now, and the big thing about it is just that you have to write in like a cohesive way that ChatGPT would come up with otherwise, kind of like that would come out that way. But yeah, so you can just go on and be like, hey, can you find me? Like, what comes up when you search me? Like, what vibe do you get? You can ask it all these things and it will just tell you. And it was very useful things to find out. So
I have typed in the question to then hit enter when we're done, because I'm curious now.
It was a really cool one to figure out. I really wish I saved the creators that I had learned that from, but it was just like one of those like randomly scrolling, got the tip and then scrolled on and was like, oh, maybe I will go figure that out, and and then I did it.
I almost want to reverse engineer it as well, being like, what would people have to search for me to be surfaced?
You probably could, for sure.
Yeah,
it would.
I'm writing this down.
It's so convenient. It's so handy for those of us who just don't have the time and energy to do all of the things, especially not on top of all of the other things that take up our time and
all
energy.
Of the other things.
I mean, like, I'm currently, like, feel like I'm dying a little bit because it's raining here. Like, so, like, when we have to deal with, like, the effects of weather on our body, I condone the use of AI 100%. Okay, so the courses, making them and the courses and the group coaching, having them come in as many different varieties of teaching methods as possible. That's huge.
Yeah.
Having the AI integrations and stuff like that being huge. Do you do anything else that you feel like is really important for your clients to make your services and your products and stuff accessible to them?
No, I mean, I think those are the primary ones. I talked a little bit as well about not having set timelines for the coaching calls, which again is important. And and I think it's also just like staying open and humble and ready to learn. Like, I know what my experience with disability is and the experience of other people who are willing to share it, but I don't know everyone's experience. So I know that I always have a question for, like, whenever someone's onboarding as a coachee, that, like, if they need any support in any way during, whether it's through how I share documents or the tool I use for my calls or whatever that might be, if they need captions, like anything, they have a space to request it there. And I think, like, for me, I've just trained myself to not go in with any assumptions. So it's always just like staying entirely open, and particularly when it comes to one-on-one coaching, just like being aware that the conversation can go in any which direction and that's totally okay. So I come in with a little bit of like a topic idea for a call, but it's very much about like following the thread of whether it's a mindset issue or whether it really is like, I need help understanding how to map out my days on a given week, which, like, that was a coaching call with one of my students. Was very much like, okay, how do we go through your entire schedule? Like, what are the tasks that you do day to day, and how can we simplify, or how can we group them together so that then you do have creative space available to you? And like, people are going to say like, oh, that has nothing to do with content. I'm like, sure. But like also when it comes to content, a lot of the time when it comes to content, people are looking for the space to be inspired, for one. So if you're helping them get to that, that's important. And just to understand how they can fit that in as a task in addition to everything else that they do. I just sort of leave it all very open.
I like that. All the flexibility. That's definitely like the way to do things. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm just trying to incorporate into my business, is making things as flexible as possible. And like, I was definitely told by coaches in the past that like, don't do that. It's going to screw you over. Like, you're going to have like people take advantage, and like, maybe, but also, I was on a coaching call the other day and I had somebody like get to the accessibility question, because I have one of those as well. Like, how can I make coaching like accessible to you? And they were like so happy because that was the first time they'd ever had that asked. And I was like so happy to be that person, and also so sad that that was never asked before.
Yeah.
Like, why is that not the consideration? It's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Accessibility helps everybody.
Yeah, no, exactly. And just having the option available, I think, is so good for everyone. Yeah, you also made me think in terms of like things that you shouldn't do. Like for me, accessibility is also related to pricing. So there's always a really interesting balance of like, how do I make this sustainable for me while still making it accessible to other folks? And for me, up until now, and it will be for a while, it means keeping my freelance writing business still going. So like I can supplement like that's my major income. And then I'm sort of figuring out how I make something more sustainable out of the seated perspective side of things, and like starting to think about, okay, maybe it's like looking for speaking opportunities so that that's my major source of income, and I'm still keeping the programs and offerings that I have at a price point that makes sense for people. And like my group program right now is at the cheapest it'll be because it's the founding round, and like I'll be getting feedback from people, and it's really sort of like a proof of concept more than anything. But yeah, then it's like, okay, how do I figure out how to raise the prices again so that it's sustainable to me, but also like what am I offering to make it accessible to other folks? So like even right now at the lowest price, I still have a 12-month payment plan, where people would pay like $37 a month or $35 a month, which is feels a lot more feasible than doing a lump payment of $397. So it's like, it's finding the different ways to make that happen. And sure, I might be sort of dinged in like the Stripe fees or something along the way, but it's still making it so that people can participate, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like, especially, like, after the whole, like, kit raising their prices thing, there's been, like, such a conversation around people and, like, their income and, like, well, if you can't afford to do it, don't do it. Like, gross. Like, first of all, like, so many of us are not doing it just because, like, this was our dream. Like, most of us are doing this because this was the option. Like, working from home was what we needed to do, so we had to find a way to make it work. And just because we didn't come into that with, like, bankroll, like, doesn't mean that we shouldn't be able to participate in it all and try to get somewhere with it. Which I just wish all of the bigger companies also thought the same way. And all of the other coaches and everything. Oh my gosh. Like, the amount of people I would hire if I could afford it. And, like, I just wish, like, everybody could. And, like, you know, it has to be the whole system of everything has to be made more affordable for other people to lower their prices, et cetera, but man, if we could all just afford all the things. Yeah, right? Oh my gosh, I don't even. That's a video on its own, right? Like,
it's a whole different podcast episode,
And if we're going to talk about the system and, like, and disability, that's another, like, another podcast on itself. I already did one talking about. You
and I are.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just relatively privileged in being in Canada. I'm not saying it's like the best system, but it's like still relatively privileged compared to what people are going through in the States, what people are going through in the UK, what people are going through in underdeveloped countries. It's just like,
the wait times here is really like the wait times in the actual like access to is the biggest problem I have in our area. Like we just like. I can't even, I think it's been like 6 months now waiting on a cardiologist, and I don't think you're supposed to have to wait on cardiologists that long. I think they forgot about me, to be honest, but that's a conversation I get to have soon. That's fun. Yeah, right?
Did you forget me?
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. Anywho, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was an amazing conversation, and I hope a lot of people got a lot out of it in tips on what to do to make your business accessible for yourself and for your clients. Can you give us the pitch, give us the spiel? Where can we find you? What are you doing?
So my presence is very much largely on Instagram, so you can find me there at seated.perspectives. And I am currently in open cart for my group program. Doors are going to be open until October 20th. I am taking a low and slow approach with keeping my doors open for that. I'm around. I'm there.
Awesome. Thank you, Ellie, so much for coming on the podcast. It was so nice talking to you, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And thank you everybody else for watching. Please make sure that you do all the things like subscribe, and if you have a story you want to tell, all of the links are down below. Talk to you later. Bye.